Welcome back to another Medtech Snapshot, the one question, one answer, highly digest medical device podcast. With me today is the Global Vice President of Operations and IT, Luis Morales. Luis, glad to have you on.
Travis, it's an honor to be here. Looking forward to our discussion today.
All right, Luis, so now we're talking about strategy and how you really drill that strategy down all the way through all the layers. So can you kind of walk us through what are some strategies you've used in the past where, in a large company, how do you ensure the execution of that strategy is getting through all the layers of the organization? Call it from Excom all the way down to our floor operators.
Yeah, this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I think I spend a lot of my time as a leader making sure that I'm thinking about the right strategy and how to convey that to the organization. But it really starts with having a strong vision, right? And that vision has to be something that is easy to understand. An example today for global operations and IT and Shockwave, our vision is that we will amplify the lives of millions of patients by fostering a premier global workplace that sparks innovation, right? And so there's three elements to that vision, right? Amplifying the lives of millions of patients. We acknowledge that last year we impacted almost 300,000 patients with our technologies, but we're very clear that by 2028, our goal is to impact double the amount of patients, right? There's 600,000 lives across the world that will be impacted by our technologies. And so that serves as a grounding sense of purpose for the organization, right? The part around fostering a premier global workplace, it's an acknowledgement that our greatest asset is our people. If you have the right people in the organization, you will be successful, and that sparks innovation. That's all about the fact at a very high level that we're committed to delivering 2 new technologies every year as an organization, as a business. But it also talks about that we understand that what got us here won't get us there, and so we have to invest in innovation and simplifying our processes, simplifying our procedures, simplifying our structure, right, to enable that innovation. So it starts with that clear vision, and then you tie strategic initiatives to enable the organization to move in that direction of that vision. And I think one of the things that's most powerful is defining at the highest level of the business what are those top few strategies that would enable success, and that becomes part of everyone's performance objectives, and we win or not as a team. It's not individual goals, it's these are team goals. Functions share these goals, and you recognize the organization's performance based on those collective goals. And so if you do that, then now you have clear sense of purpose, you have an aligned organization. The last piece, the third pillar of that stool, is you have to establish a governance structure, right, that connects the different levels of organization, that allows for pathways of escalations when right. Things are not going right. And ultimately, it enables leaders to understand when the functional teams need help. And that's our job, right? It's our job to support these teams, to enable the teams to drive success, not the other way around, right? These are not governance structures that, one of the biggest pitfalls is you establish these structures and it's about reporting and status, right? That's not what it's about. It is about understanding, what are the risks, what are the problems that the organizations are struggling with, so we can lean in and support our teams to drive success. And I think that's how you enable alignment across all levels of the organization, and you enable high performing teams.
You had talked a moment ago about that strategy piece, and right, how do you communicate that strategy down through the structures? And one of the things that I've seen, and I'll candidly admit I've fallen victim to myself, is it's kind of this idea of if you're something for everything, you're something of nothing, right? So really making sure that strategy, or as we talked about in a past conversation, those KPIs are really aligned. So that way everybody knows what the marching orders are, right?
Yep, 100%. And those KPIs, right? They will evolve, right? And one interesting conversation that we get into in the operations world is inventory, right? And we all want to reduce inventory that drives cash flow, et cetera, right? But that's not one size fits all, right? I've been in businesses that are very mature, where that's an opportunity, and that's something we should be working on. And I've been in businesses where we're growing, double digits, and that's not the focus. The focus is serving, the growth of the business, getting product to the right time, in the right place, on time. And so inventory may not be the focus area, right? And so you have to adopt and make sure that you're not following a one size fits all strategy here with KPIs.